Those Shoes, written by Maribeth Boelts and illustrated by Noah Z. Jones. I have dreams about those shoes, black high tops with 2 white stripes. Grandma, I want them. There's no room for want around here, son. Just need. And what you need are new boots for the winter. Brandon T comes to school in those shoes. He says he's the fastest runner now. Not me. I was always the fastest runner before those shoes came along. Nate comes to school in those shoes. And Antonio and I count how many times Nate goes to the bathroom. 7 times in one day. Just so he can walk up and down the hall real slow. Next, Alan, Jacoby, and Terrence each get a pair. Then one day, in the middle of kickball, one of my shoes comes apart. Looks like you could use a new pair there, Jeremy, Mr. Alfred, the guidance counselor, says. He brings out a box of shoes and other stuff he has for kids that need things. He helps me find the only shoes my size. Velcro, like the ones my little cousin Marshall wears. They have an animal on them from a cartoon I don't think any kid has ever watched. When I come back to the classroom, Alan Jacoby takes one look at my Mr. Alfred shoes and laughs. And so does Terrence and Brandon T and everyone else. The only kid not laughing, though, is Antonio Parker. At home, Grandma says, "How kind of Mr. Alfred." I nod and I turn my back. I'm not going to cry about a dumb pair of shoes. But when I'm writing my spelling words later, every word looks like shoes. And my grip is so tight on my pencil, I think it might bust. On Saturday, Grandma says, "Let's check out those shoes you're wanting so much. I got a little bit of money saved. It might be enough. You never know." At the shoe store, Grandma turns the shoes over so she can check the price. When she sees it, she sits down really heavy. "Maybe they wrote it down wrong," I say, but Grandma shakes her head. Then I remember the thrift shops. What if there's a rich kid who outgrew his or got 2 pairs for Christmas so he had to give one away? We ride the bus to the first thrift shop. Black cowboy boots, pink slippers, sandals, high heels, every kind of shoe except the ones I want. We ride the bus to the second thrift shop, not a pair of those shoes in sight. Around the corner is the third thrift shop. I see something in the window. Black shoes with 2 white stripes, high tops, perfect shape, $2.50. Those shoes! My heart's pounding hard as I take off my shoes and hitch up my baggy socks. "How exciting," Grandma says. "What size are they?" I shove my foot into the first shoe, curling my toes to get my heel in. I don't know, but I think they fit. Grandma kneels on the floor and feels for my toes at the end of my shoe. "Oh, Jeremy, I can't spend good money on shoes that don't fit." I put the other shoe on and I try to walk around. "They're okay," I say, holding my breath and praying that my toes will fall off right then and there. But my toes don't fall off. I buy them anyway with my own money and I squeeze them on and limp to the bus stop. At home, a few days later, Grandma puts a new pair of snow boots in my closet and doesn't say a word about my 2 big feet shuffling around in my 2 small shoes. "Sometimes shoes stretch," I say, and Grandma gives me a hug. I check every day, but those shoes, they just don't stretch. I have to wear my Mr. Alfred shoes to school instead. And one day during math, I glance at Antonio's shoes. One of them's taped up, and his feet look smaller than mine. After school, I head to the park to think. Antonio is there, the only kid who didn't laugh at my Mr. Alfrey shoes. We shoot basket, and a loose piece of tape on Antonio's shoes smacks the concrete every time he jumps. I think, I'm not going to do it. We leap off the swings. I'm not going to do it. We race from one end of the playground together. I'm not going to do it, I say. Do what? Antonio says, breathing hard. Grandma calls me for supper and invites Antonio over too. After supper, he spies on my shoes. How come you don't wear them? Antonio asks. I shrug. My hands are sweaty. I can feel him wishing that those were his shoes. That night, I'm awake for a long time thinking about Antonio. When morning comes, I try on my shoes one last time. Before I can change my mind, the shoes are in my coat and snow's beginning to fall as I run across the street to Antonio's apartment. I put the shoes in front of his door, push the doorbell, and run. At school, Antonio was smiling big in his brand new shoes. I feel happy when I look at his face, and I feel mad when I look at my Mr. Alfrey shoes. But later, when it's time for recess, something happens. Everywhere there is snow. Leave your shoes in the hall and change into your boots, says the teacher. Leave your shoes in the hall. It's then I remember what I have in my backpack. New boots. New black boots that no kid has ever worn before. Standing in line to go to recess, Antonio leans forward and says, "Thanks." I smile and I give him a nudge. Let's race. All right, that's the end. Thank you for listening to me read those shoes.